Well, we've been talking about Florida. Arizona important as well. The vote tally continues this morning in that Senate race. Democrat Kyrsten Sinema now with a slight lead over Republican Martha McSally, but there are still about 264,000 ballots that have yet to be counted. The GOP filing and settling a lawsuit this week, making sure all Arizona counties verify mail-in ballots, guaranteeing, they say, that every vote is counted. Here to weigh in, election law attorney and former Maricopa County prosecutor Tim La Sota. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. Let's start with something which seems like a lot of people are waking up in our audience and saying, how in the world are there still 264,000 ballots that have not been counted days after the election?
Well, it's always a question here in Arizona after a close election, why it takes so long. The reason is mail-in ballots. Every single signature on the mail-in ballot has to be compared to the voter's signature on file with the county recorder to verify that that voter did, in fact, cast that ballot.
And what about what was happening in rural counties? That court action I mentioned, it seemed to be that Republicans were trying to stop the fact that Democrats, it appeared anyway, did not want rural votes to be counted because they knew that was going to help the Republican McSally.
Yes, absolutely. In the two most populous counties that voted for Sinema, those counties were giving voters over 8 days, essentially, to come back and verify that it was, in fact, their signature. If the county recorder had a question and there was a possibility their vote would not count. The other counties have not done that traditionally. The Republican Party filed a lawsuit and said they should, and the Democrats intervened and said no, those votes should not be counted.
Well, I thought the Democrats have the chant of every vote should count. So it's every vote that it should count that may help them in this Senate battle?
Yeah. Every vote in an area that tends to vote Democrat should be counted, and other votes should be discarded. I think this laid bare they are not concerned with counting votes. They're concerned with counting their votes.
All right. Talk to me about something that is going to be of great interest to our audience. So one of the election officials involved in overseeing the Senate race, I understand, was involved in representing the ringleader in the Fast and Furious scandal that we know so much about. Could that possibly be true?
Yes. Well, Adrian Fontes, I mean, he was sort of a garden variety criminal defense lawyer. He saw an opportunity to run. He's always been very partisan. He participated in an anti-Trump rally right after the president got inaugurated and actually spoke at it. So, and unfortunately, Mr. Fontes has shown in the past that sort of the legal requirements should not be an impediment to his ultimate goal of getting more people on the registration rolls.
Okay, let's bottom line this for our audience. My understanding is the majority of the ballots out there still to be counted are, as I alluded to earlier, from Maricopa County, the most populous county in the state of Arizona. And it seems to me that early on, many of those ballots have been trending, the ones have been counted, towards Sinema, the Democrat. And the Democratic camp seems confident that it's going to be hard for McSally to catch up. Can you confirm that? Or if you want to challenge that narrative, please feel free.
Well, the thing about it is Maricopa County, when the votes were counted on Election Day, it was very narrow. I think Sinema had about an 8,000 vote margin, and that's about 1%. So since what we call in Arizona, the late early ballots have been tallied up, Sinema has had a much larger advantage. And I think that trend is going to be difficult to hold for Sinema. So I think just if you do the math, I think there are probably more McSally votes out there because Sinema has piled up an advantage that is not consistent with voting on Election Day and the early ballots.
Well, Tim La Sota.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how the votes are counted, but
we appreciate it.
Sure.
Tim La Sota, thanks for coming in. Obviously, a big race. This has been a Republican seat. We'll see whether it flips Democrat or not. Tim La Sota, thanks for coming in.